We are live now. Good afternoon, people. A wee bit earlier than usual because these two ladies here have hair appointments. Matt for the top of his head, Bryan for the bottom of his face.
That's not where I thought that was going.
So say I hope you enjoy your weekend. Today, we're joined just now. I don't know if it's evening. Does it still count as evening or afternoon? 5 p.m.
It's afternoon for us. For 5 p.m., I'd call it afternoon.
Late afternoon. Early evening.
This early evening.
Yes.
We are joined. Would you shut up? Let me introduce you.
No. I can see what kind of show this
is. You knew what you were getting yourself into.
It's okay to have one of us on. Then you can get your intro out. And
all right, I'll leave.
Both of us? A bad move.
I don't do big fancy intros and all that because we're Scottish. You don't do that, you know. But today, this late evening, we are joined by Global Ghost Hunts, Bryan. What's your second name? Laverty and Matt Barn. Bryan also runs. I can never say this. Hunter.
Huntophobia.
And Matt is the Paranormal Consultant.
Yeah.
So
that doesn't really consult anything, to be honest.
Exactly.
That's my secret.
It's been quite a while since I had these gentlemen on. Well, I was on Matt's show the other week. That's something I still regret, you know. There's our Laura in. But just before we came on here, Bryan was commenting about our backdrop.
Yeah.
That we're moving up in the world.
It's just, you went full out on your side there, paranormal and history, and then you just topped it with your stars.
The only reason the stars are up is because it's December.
Yeah.
And that was a last minute thought. I actually stole one of them off of one of our windows.
One of yours or one of your neighbors?
No, one of yours. We live in a respectable neighbourhood now. We don't go stealing stuff out of people's gardens or backyards, I should say.
You would give it back at the end of the season.
Wow.
I give it back if you get caught.
Well, Matt's from Pennsylvania, and that's probably a typical thing they do there.
Honestly, yeah. Almost every sign or every house has those stars, those exact stars.
Well, no, you steal them from other people's place.
Oh, that's only the neighbors we don't like. Or if they set up their Christmas stuff before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yep. Then we start taking them down.
You think I need a shave here, Scott?
Just a bit, aye. Just a bit. What's with your head upside down?
I don't know what's going. Wow. I don't. I don't. I'll probably shave tomorrow.
Have you got a lawnmower?
What do you mean?
A lawnmower.
Lawnmower for your face.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, ladies, what's happening? What have you been up to?
What haven't we been up to? That's a better question.
That's a loaded question.
All right, what haven't you been up to then?
Sex.
What have you been doing?
You went one direction, I went the other. You knew it. You knew what you were getting into.
Yeah.
I should really split these shows, shouldn't I? However, too late now.
It's okay. I can go down if you want me to.
Who wants to go first? We'll let Bryan go first because I was on Matt's show a couple of weeks ago. So, we'll let Bryan go. No offense, Matt, but we'll let Bryan go first.
I'm sure Matt's not going to take any offense by that at all.
I don't care.
There we go. That's better. That's better.
Yeah. Oh gosh, got a lot going on. We got the Global Ghost Hunt starting back up for next year. So we're starting to get some signups. I believe we had a sign up today, actually. We had a sign up today. Pitt signed up today. PIT.
Oh, nice.
So so we're starting to get some signups for next year, for next April and May. And so doing that, I'm actually in the process of editing a video for Huntophobia going up on Paraflix and YouTube. The trailer will be coming out this week. I got a trailer coming out. you know what? Honestly, Global Ghost Hunt takes up a lot of my time. I got a new show starting tonight with AJ. We're doing a show called Crime Documentaries, which will be up on Parapost Network Central, and obviously Talking with the Source and YouTube and all those wonderful places. So that's starting tonight. It's true crimes, basically, the show that we're starting. So we're really, really looking forward to that. And Parapost Network growing and growing, and so much going on. And I just finished, and I don't say this enough, I just finished writing a book.
You wrote a book. Is it a pop-up book?
It's a pop-up book. It's got all. I just finished writing a book. Now, what people are going to be surprised about what kind of book it is nothing to do with the paranormal. It's actually a cookbook that I wrote. And I don't know if you know this guy, but I'm kind of a health conscious kind of guy. So I wrote a cookbook on keto stuff, ketogenic, genetic, whatever you want to say, keto. So that is now up selling on Amazon, and I sold my first book this week.
Excellent, congratulations. I was going to say, you say you're a bit of a health coach,
Yeah,
I can see that by just looking at you, just with the physique, fine figure of a man.
Yeah. Thank you. Hercules, yeah. So I asked this to Matt this week, and I'm going to ask you, Scott. So are you considered an author? Not just because writing the book. I know some people would say, well, I'm an author because I wrote a book. But I don't think you're really an author until you sell your first book. Would you agree with that?
You have no idea. You write a book.
Like anybody can write a book. Anybody can write a book.
I think you would need to sell some books before you could label yourself an author.
Well, I sold some books.
So I would reckon, because as you say, anybody can write, a book and say, I'm an author now because I could sit here and write a book probably a load of crap, but say, well, I'm now not. You see, well, I was saying you need to sell some books.
Yeah.
So now we have an up and coming author as well.
Yeah. So somebody reached out to me last night and they said, "Can I get your link because I want to buy your book?" Last night, I go, "Sure." So I sent him the link, and he said he's going to buy my book. But do you really call it a book though? Is it really a book?
Well, it's in the name, so I would call it a book.
Yeah, so you got another sale there. Eric Thompson, he'll buy your book.
Yeah. So
what do you mean? Would you call it a book?
Would you call it a book? Like, yeah, I don't know if it's really necessary. Like, is a recipe book really a book?
I think you're diving too much into this one, brother. It's
well,
still,
why not?
You wrote it.
I'm starting on my second one.
Has it got a back and front cover?
Yes. And the funny thing is, on the back cover is a picture of me.
Oh, no one of them. Not one of these kind of.
Is that kind of arrogant? Is that arrogant, putting your own picture on your own book?
I don't think so.
It's on the back. If it was on the front, then that
would in the back. It means when it's on the shelf, nobody can see it.
Yeah, there you go. So it's not that arrogant then.
Kate's saying, good question. How many books would you have to sell to be considered an author or successful author?
That is an interesting question.
Honestly,
so I would consider myself an author, not a successful author yet. How about that?
Honestly, I think if you write a book, you're just a writer. But once you start selling them, then you become an author.
Well, that's what I asked you during the week, and you gave me some kind of stupid answer.
Well, that's normal.
Has it got more than 100 pages in it?
No, it has 69 pages.
Oh, it's not a book then. It's just a pamphlet.
But Matt's first question about my book was, "Are there pictures?" I go, "Yes." There's a lot of pictures in them. For every recipe, there's a picture of that recipe.
You know what? I just had a great thought here, Brian. For your second one, you should do scratch and sniff. All the pictures beat scratch and
Well,
sniff,
then
so people can smell it.
you know what? That's interesting because that would probably be one that people would really want to scratch and sniff.
Exactly,
Because
especially
it's
that
going to
back
be
cover.
it's going to be the top 15. I'll give it away. It's going to be the top 15 keto desserts or healthy desserts.
Well, you
So
definitely
that would be one to scratch and sniff.
There you go, and on the back, do a scratch and sniff for you.
That's probably not one. No, I don't think so. But to answer your question, could you give us a teaser recipe? I'm intrigued. Well, there's one I really like, and it's probably bad, but there's one that's really, really good in there. It's peanut butter. It's peanut butter with covered in chocolate. And that is probably one of my favorites. The salmon one I really, really like. The lemon chicken is really good. All of them are really, really good that you want to try out for sure.
I like lemon chicken.
Yeah.
I think this is a show for Brian's cookbook.
Yeah, why not? I actually, that's not a bad thing. That could be my third book. top 31 recipes for people who have no teeth.
I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Well, I've got teeth, but I don't. Mine's are removable.
Mine aren't. I just don't have them.
So,
I have teeth, guys. Sorry.
I can go with option A, have them, or option B, don't have them. So the global, how do you sign up for that actually? Because I think it was either yourself or Matt there that I told we were going to take part in it as well next year.
Global Ghost Hunt?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Matt told me that you said you're going to be part of it next year.
We're going to do Loudon Cup.
You know what I think? I think GSI is going to be part of it too.
Well, we GSI on during the week. I was talking to John earlier on. I was trying to get him on the day, but he's in London. He was hoping to make it back in time to jump on for half an hour, but he says he might pop up. But I sent him a link anyway. He might pop up.
I haven't seen John. I spoke to John probably about 2 months ago. Every so often we get a chance to speak for a little bit, but I love John. John's great. He's great. Sorry and I'm really disappointed what happened with their group, but it is what it is. It is.
We joined GSI, one of the first teams we ever chatted with about 3 years ago, and we're kept in close. They're kind of like family. We regard each other as family. We did Sherwood Forest with them. No Halloween there. Halloween a year past Halloween. We all met up in Sherwood Forest. They're hoping to come up to Scotland at the beginning of the new year. And we might be doing a couple of collabs with them down England next year. But they're no disrespect to other teams, people that we've chatted with. They were one of our first interviewees. I think that's the word, interviewees. And we're just kept in touch. And they were on, John and Kim were on the show the other night, so they were saying they might sign up for it.
Yeah, I think the real word would be interviews, not interviewees.
Right. Well, actually, you're an author, so you would know better than me.
I can use that now.
That'll be his excuse for everything now.
I'm an author, guys.
I'm an author.
No, I love John. John is great. And when I was out in the UK a year ago, we only got to investigate once, and I investigated with Ralph 3 times. But I was planning on going out there next year, but I don't know if it's going to happen now. So if I get out there next year, I will be definitely hooking up with Rosie and Emma, and hooking up with John, hopefully. And I don't think I'll be there for a month, though. I think I'll only be there for a couple of weeks. But if I get out there next year, then I'll definitely be meeting up with them. So, yeah.
We have Rosie and Andre. I can never pronounce his name. Andre.
Yeah.
They're coming up here end of February next year.
Oh, she told me about that. She told me about that. That's going to be a lot of fun for you guys.
Well, so we're going to be staying here and just doing what we do. Kate's asking, are you from Michigan, Brian? I'm not so great with your accent, but it sounds familiar. I'm in Chicago at the moment.
I live in I live in Toronto. Toronto, Canada. There's my accent.
Well, she's right when she says she's no great with accents, isn't she? You're in Toronto and Michigan's kind of like down there, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
So Matt's sitting there all quiet for a change. What have you been doing?
Hey! I'm sharing this out.
I know we're in the presence of greatness, Matt, but don't feel intimidated because Brian sold a book.
Actually, to be fair, I'm ready.
You know what? I'll be honest. I'm also a successful actor here in Toronto as well.
My best.
I love that your tortoise show.
I just finished filming a TV show a month ago.
Not about cookery, I hope.
What's that?
Not about cookery.
No. I was playing a cop, a detective.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
As you can hear, folks, we don't have any topic today. This early evening, we're just talking rubbish, basically. You know.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've been all together.
Right.
It's been too long. We can't leave as much a gap the next time. So, Mr. Consultant, who have you been consulting on recently?
Myself. No, I've been doing a lot of work with obviously the Global Ghost Hunt, as you know, brother. Brian and I have been really trying to make things better for everybody and easier for everybody. And the admin staff, we've all been working extremely hard to make this spring event going to be something to remember. So we've been doing a lot of work with that. I'm actually starting my own book up, but this one's not gonna be a cookbook. This one's not a cookbook. You don't want what I eat. It'll just say order food. That's all that cookbook would say. Just order food. I'm actually writing a book called The Paranormal Truth. It's going to be truth about the paranormal field. You know, we have a lot of books about everything in the field, but not like a how-to guide, a proper how-to guide for the field on people starting up. And so I wanted to do something like that. So I've been procrastinating on it, but I have started it. I have started the book.
So do you think there is a right and wrong way to start up?
See, and that's the thing. Everybody always says, oh, there's a right way, there's a wrong way, there's this way, there's that way. You know what? Honestly, there really isn't. It's up to you.
What?
The whole right and wrong thing is a you thing. What are you after? What do you want to do with this field? What are your goals? What are your ambitions with it? And that's where you start out. It's not a matter of just grabbing equipment and running out, to a haunted location. It's what is your focus? And that's something I'm going to cover in this book. And it's going to be even something like equipment, like you talked about equipment. What kind? Because people say, go out and grab, an SB7 or grab an Ovilus or get this or get that. But in actuality, nothing against the SB7, because I know Brian would castrate me, but it's not needed. Not needed right away. Some people may not like it. Some people may not want to use it. You don't need to go out and spend thousands of dollars, to start in this field. Go to Walmart, grab some random shit and go out and have fun. Yeah. Use your phone, and that's stuff that this is going to cover. And that's why I called it The Truth, because it's going to be a guide, but it's not going to be a guide. You know what I mean? It's going to be a book of consultancy. But no, and I just think it'd be nice to have. And I know a lot of people, ask these questions, and these teams are afraid to, get started or to do things because they don't know. They don't have that guide. So that's what I want to offer to them.
See, we get told a couple of years ago now, by somebody that we were investigating the wrong way. You know, we'd been running for about maybe a year or something. And we told you doing it the wrong way. We said, well, you know, one, what's the right way? You know, what is the right and wrong way? Is there a right and wrong way? Does that even exist? And for people that are doing it the wrong way, we seem to be doing all right. You know, that's why I don't charge $100 for my stuff. And Facebook user says hi. I answered a post couple of weeks ago. Somebody was saying, you know, I'm going out on my first investigation. What's the best way to do it? And I just put in simply, don't expect anything.
Yeah.
End of story. You know, and I would say if somebody's going out on their first, you know, investigation, just take your phone and a torch.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You know, don't run out. I know it's tempting. We did it as well, right? A lot of the folk to go, you know, it's just starting. You've seen all this stuff on whether it's Ghost Adventures or whatever. I need to buy one of them. I need to buy one of these. And you go out with all this gear, and it's your first investigation, and you don't have a clue what you're doing because you've never done it before. You know, it's like buying a Ferrari for your first driving lesson. You just don't do it. And so I would say, you know, just mobile phone, torch, go somewhere and just see what happens.
Yeah, and that's the another thing is too is if you buy all this equipment and you go out there, you may not like it. You may not like our field. Some people, you know, see the TV shows, they see the movies, and they think that's how it is. No, not even close. Can it happen? Yes. Does it happen? Not regularly. No. Most of the time, you're just in the dark talking to yourself, or you know, if you're doing a live video, you're talking to, you know, the audience or tripping over holes. Brian.
It's Brian trip up.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful, and I love it. So
is this the Embarrassed Brian show, or what's going on here?
Well, we've done the I'm Brian, I'm an author, and I've sold a book. But you know, so
got to bring you down a couple of pegs. No,
we need to bring you down that ladder a wee bit because you're kind of up there, you know, next to Gordon Ramsay.
It was so fun. It was so funny because for the Global Ghost Hunt, in case anybody doesn't realize, usually about 15-20 minutes before the investigation starts, you or I would come on and just make sure, you know, everything looks good, audio wise, video wise, signal, everything, and just check in with these teams. Well, Brian was going out to this bridge, and we were backstage just bullshitting, having a good old time, and all of a sudden I hear, "Ah, shit!" And I was like, "What the hell? What happened?" He goes, "Fell in this fucking hole," and he's talking about it. We had a chuckle about it. We were laughing a little bit.
It was funny.
Did his investigation. It was great investigation. And at the very end, he's walking back, talking to everybody, thanking everybody for coming into the room and whatnot. Trips over that same fucking hole.
I've got a question for Kate, but when you fall, we did an old church months and months ago, and we did it as a live, and so I was holding we did it on my phone, and I went, you know, for a wee walkabout, but it was like an obstacle course, you know. We're told this church was just in dire condition. There was bricks and trees and everything lying, you know, on the ground everywhere. And I tripped over, I don't know where it was, tripped over something, and I just went down. And when I watched the live back, you just saw the camera going. I managed to hold on to my phone. That was the thing. I never dropped my phone. But you just saw the footage just went like that, you know, me going down. And there was a couple of choice words, obviously, you know, and but when everybody else sees it, I think it's one of the worst things that can happen. Case, what's your go-to piece of equipment for investigating? Would these favour?
Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, two. I have two. Would be my recorder on my phone. Is one of them. That would be the second one, but the first one is the SB7 is my first one. That's why they call me the SB7 Whisperer, because I get a lot of activity through my SB7. A lot of activity. If you've seen any of my videos, you will see how much activity I get. Some of the best pieces of evidence that I've captured is through the SB7. And like when I was like we were talking about the UK earlier, I captured some really good evidence in the UK through my SB7. But there's one particular moment during an investigation with Portal to the Paranormal and Lex and stuff like that. I was like, for me, if people don't know me in the room, I'm always one. I'm very respectful when I go into a location, always very respectful. And I always tend to introduce myself and anybody I'm with. So I was actually introducing everyone, and over the SB7, I said Lex, and then right after that, it said hi Lex, and then I said Nando, and then it went Nando. And so it's evidence like that I've captured. I've been at a location called the Streaming Tunnel, which is a very popular location here in Canada, especially in the Ontario area or outside of Toronto. I was at the tunnel, which is very, very haunted, and I was probably about 300 meters away from the tunnel, because the story, it's quite a long story, but the girl that died in this tunnel lived in a house that was not too far away from this tunnel that burnt down. Apparently the foundation is still there, so we were trying to look for the foundation, because apparently the foundation has a lot of energy around it, and so we were trying to look for the foundation, and I asked over the SB7 if you can help us find it. And it literally said, "You'll never find it." And then seconds after that, I said, "Is it behind me or in front of me?" And it said the other side. And what that meant was it was on the other side of the road. We were on the wrong side of the road.
Right.
Which is interesting, because we never ended up finding it. But I know where it is now. So when I go back there, I will go near it and see what I can get off of it. But it's stuff like that I've captured through the SB7. Like, I go to this church. I've been in this church like 4 or 5 times, this abandoned church, which is it's an incredible location. I've captured it saying my name over and over and over again. And, you know, me and Lex on Through the Lens, we had a person up on the show, and he's a huge skeptic. And that's what his page is. He's a skeptic. He's still a paranormal investigator, but he's a skeptic at the same time. And he just feels it's a broken radio, and that's all it is. And it's which I get what he's saying, but he says that it's somebody saying your name over a radio station. I go, well, what are the chances? And let's be honest, guys, Nando is not a very popular name. And I was in the UK, and it said Nando, and then it even said hi Lex. Like, come on, you know. I think the SB7 is should be the go-to for most people, and I understand that a lot of people don't like that static noise, but you can fix that now. You can put your SB7 into a portal, and it gets rid of the static noise. So, you know, there's ways to get rid of that static noise, but I prefer the static noise. SB7 is my top.
What about you, Matt?
Well, since Kate said I'm not allowed to say myself, because that's what I always do. I always use, you know, my feelings and let my body just kind of do what it does. You know what I mean? If I had to choose, obviously a recorder. Doesn't matter whether it's my phone or a digital recorder. Always have to have that for validation purposes. And I'd probably just say just a camera, just a regular video camera, or my GoPro when it works. But you know, for me, it's all about the experience. It's all about validation, and it's all about helping out these locations and helping out the spirits there, getting these answers, finding out, you know, who they are, what they're doing there, why are they there, do they need help, and just trying to figure out what is actually happening. Because, you know, as paranormal investigators, we already know the answer. The big question: is there life after death? No, no, duh. Of course, there's life after death. Otherwise, who the hell are we talking to?
Mhm.
It's a matter of what happens after death, and that's what I want to do. I want to find out, and if I can help spirits out or help these locations, screw it, let's do it. Let's have some fun with it. But I'm really simple. Everybody thinks that there's a lot of complex BS going on up here. No, I'm simple.
I like you know what? I like the old style. I like paper and pen.
Yeah.
You know, like I think, you know, we on Global Ghost Hunt, if you ever go to the website, we have a guy there, Barry Fitzgerald, which is very, very popular out there. He did a video for us recommending the Global Ghost Hunt, and he talks about the top 5 pieces of equipment. His number one piece of equipment is paper and pen. You know,
Exactly.
I think the problem with today's, I think we can all agree. I think the problem with today's paranormal investigators, they rely too much on equipment.
Yep.
And like I've seen many videos, people relying on, you know, the apps. You know, I think the apps are should be questioned a lot more than they are. And like I know a lot of people use the necrophonic and stuff like that, but you know, I'm on the fence about the necrophonic, to be honest.
Well,
And you know, if I use the necrophonic, the only time I'll really use it is to get them going. I won't use it for a whole investigation. And you know, because is that a paranormal investigator that uses it during the whole investigation? I don't think so.
See,
I think with it being a paranormal investigator, it's a whole bunch of different things. You know, it's actually knowing the history on the location, trying to find out the history, what Matt said earlier about maybe possibly helping these people.
Yep.
You know, and you know, because they were people at one point. And you know, there's a whole ball of different things that you should be doing as a paranormal investigator. And I think with the problem with today's paranormal investigators, or the new ones coming out, they're concentrating on the equipment so much, and they're forgetting about the investigation.
And that's what I mean. Basic. I'm always saying basic is better. I was talking to his GSI as well, and you know, I guess we done the other week. And what I said was that, you know, as you said, people are relying too much on equipment. Now, is that just down to them seeing it on Amazon, or is it down to TV, whatever? But if you're out investigating and you maybe, you know, pick up on a gentleman for the 17th century, say, you know, and you get somebody who's maybe got an SLS camera, something like that, but then you get somebody who's got a ball, and you put 2 big things down on the ground, and you ask this gentleman, you know, can you do something with these? He's more likely to go for the ball, than he is for this strange black box thing that's sitting. Because
I can vouch for that, because like I know this is one of Matt's maybe favorite clips of mine, is when I was at the mausoleum in the UK, we had some cat balls down on the steps, and I was asking question. It was lighting up like that, answering the questions through it lighting it up. And you know, I and I agree with you, Scott. I think it comes down to the fact that people are really focusing on these different types of things and wanting to get the latest piece of equipment. And I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the SLS camera. I'm not. I think you can get a lot more false positives than you can with positives, to be honest. And the problem with the SLS camera, I've watched so many people, they're not even using it properly. Like an SLS camera is supposed to be stationary. You're not supposed to be moving around with it. And on top of that, it should be facing a blank wall. Like if you have your SLS camera facing at a piano, you're more than likely going to get that stick figure. because it maps out. It maps. it maps whatever out, and then you're all of a sudden you got a stick figure and you think it's a spirit, and I'm not a fan of the SLS camera, and I'm definitely not a fan of GhostTube, which I think is probably the worst app out there, and people seem to be so focused on it, especially TikTok. There's a guy on TikTok that it's like his religion, and it's I think we rely, and the apps. I'm still on the fence about apps. I really am. I understand that spirits can manipulate and drain your battery from the phone for energy, but are they really going in there trying to manipulate an app? Come on.
See, I can't with the apps. Like I've been doing this 18 years. I see the apps, I see what they're doing and everything like that. Screw that. That's not what that device is made for. The phones or iPads, whatever, they're not made for that. They're not made for what these necrophonics and all these other things are doing. That's not what they're made for. Coincidence on some things? Maybe. But a lot of these have been debunked because when you give it access, it's picking up on your microphone. So it's hearing everything that's going on, whether the app's running or not. So it's basically recording it.
And I agree with you, Matt, but in defense of Necrophonic, it's the only app that doesn't ask for permission. Now, my question is, it might have not asked you for permission, but how do we really know that it's really not going into your phone?
Exactly. And I will say when the Wicked Queen and I were down in New Orleans for the Global Ghost Hunt for when we did Voodoo Authentica, Howard had it out, and we were getting some pretty good stuff. And it's too much to be coincidence. Way too much to be coincidence. So was that the spirits? Possibly. Because like we've said before, in this field, anything is possible.
Yep.
But I mean, to sit there and say that every hit is evident, no.
I just find it hard to believe that a spirit. I can see a spirit draining batteries from phones and your camera and your recorders or whatever it may be. I could see that. I just can't see a spirit going, you know what? I'm going to mess with this guy's app and screw it up and do something. I'm sorry, I just can't see it. I think at the end of the day, I think we just rely way too much on the apps and the equipment and stuff like that. If you're going into investigation, and I know somebody said something about the body and stuff, but your body is your number one piece of equipment.
Yeah,
it really is. And I use the SB7, but I'd rather use the SB7 where it's a little more. There's a lot more validation behind that than an app, So
the necrophonic. I mean, I'm not a tech person, as Matt learned before we came.
I'm not either.
So I'm really into the sort of tech side. That's really more kind of like simple. But we use the necrophonic a lot, and all these apps are loaded with certain words and stuff like that. But what we've found with the necrophonic is that we've had a lot of different accents through it. And I'm a skeptic myself, even though, I believe in life after death. You have to be skeptical.
Yeah.
And it's when you get words through the app that directly, can you say that there, relate to, where you are, what you're doing. A quick example is the location we're going to be doing for the ghost hunt, Loudon Kirk. We've done it many, many times, but we always use the necrophonic. One, we were doing an investigation, and we get the name Christina, plain as day, through the necrophonic. Because we asked, can you tell us who's here? And we get the name Christina. Now, Christina is not a popular name, and it's not a name that we'd used, anybody had said. And we looked at it was a family burial plot that we were at, and the name on the bit was Christina Dempster. And so what I said was, if this is, Mrs. Christina Dempster, Can you say yes and we got a yes through it?
Now,
No,
my
if
question
you get stuff like that. That's what
now my question to you, and this would be very interesting to know. During your investigation, before those questions came up, did you ever mention this Christina's name?
Not to be
Not
the
once. Not once.
no, we
You
didn't
gotta
know.
wonder if there's a possibility that the mic is turned on for the necrophonic, and if somebody mentioned the name during the investigation, you just never know. But you know what? Like I was using the necrophonic app for quite a while myself before I really got into the SB7, and there were some real odd moments when I had the necrophonic on. Some real odd moments, and were they coincidences? Maybe they were actual factual. I don't know, but again, it's one of those things where it's an app. It's an app, and they always say in the apps that this is for entertainment purposes only. You know, it's not really legitimate, but it's hard to say. Like I said, like Matt said, anything's possible. It really is. In this field, anything is possible.
Yeah.
So
Is the cat balls as well in the K2. I like them. And I know a lot of people put the K2 down, which is understandable. There's there's a million and one things that can set a K2 off.
I don't know if you know this, Scott, but I found out recently within the last year there is a way to manipulate the K2. And
there is.
all you need to do is drop a copper penny in it.
Back here.
And
My thing with the K2 is, I'll say to people, I accept it can be manipulated and loads of things can activate it, but if you get a K2 that's sitting there dormant, as I call it, for 15, 20 minutes, and then you say, well, if there's a gentleman called John here, can you make that go to yellow? And then that K2 goes to yellow and then goes dead again, and this happens maybe 2 or 3 in a row with different questions. I find that hard to debunk. There was also another case where we did in Loudon Kirk again. I had a K2 one side of the headstone and a cat ball another, and we were sure with a guy called James there. So the K2 was going nuts on command. So I said, if this is James, can you step back from that box? I always call it a box. Can you step back from that box and light up that ball for me? And that's exactly what happened. The box just went flat and the cat ball lit up.
Yeah.
And to me, that's hard to debunk. I'm not saying we're brilliant or anything like that. But that's why I prefer the sort of simple things as well, because I think it's easier for spirit to interact with a ball or a wee simple black box.
I would believe at this point in my time of being in the paranormal, I would believe more the K2 than I would believe an app.
Yeah. Well, Scott, you said
Matt, even though the K2 can be easily manipulated. Go ahead, Matt. Sorry for
I was just going to say, Scott, you said the magic word right there. Debunk. That's the thing I think a lot of these investigators are forgetting. When you are getting these hits on the necrophonics or an ovulus or a K2, it doesn't matter what the piece of equipment, you have to try to debunk it. You have to validate what you are getting. It's just like if you open up the necrophonics and you get a female voice that always comes through, it's always a female, but you're getting male EVPs. I'm sorry, I'll believe that recorder. I'll believe that $10 recorder from Amazon rather than that. You know what I mean? Like to me, you have to be able to validate. You have to to debunk. You still have to do your due diligence. Yeah. Even with the K2, pretty lights come up and start flashing and everything. Great. Is there underground wiring? Is there overhead wiring? Is there this? Is there that? Is it your phone? Is it a radio? Is it your SB7? Is it this? Is it that? Do your due diligence.
Yeah. Well, I will say that, like Scott, I was doing an investigation with somebody else, and we were at a canal, and we were asking questions, and we weren't using our phones. We had our phones we had our phones a fair distance away, and we were using a regular Canon camera. So in no way is that camera setting off the K2. And there was no wires or anything like that above. And we were asking questions, and the K2 was going off. And one particular question I asked was, are you able to go back and forth? Are you able to go back and forth? And it lit up like a Christmas tree. So like I said, I would, if I were to put the necrophonic down in the K2, I'd pick the K2 all day long. Even though you can manipulate it by even having, and this is the biggest problem as well. Hi, Nerdwitch. Like I said, this is the biggest problem, that people think they put their phone on airplane mode, nothing's going to be affected. That is total crap. It's crap. If you put your phone on airplane mode, your stuff can still be affected, because your phone is still trying to send out signals to a tower. Even if your phone is on airplane mode. And even if your phone is off, it could still send out signals. You have to have your phone far away from anything like a K2 or anything that's easily set off by a phone. So, and then the third thing is, or the second or third or whatever that is, a lot of people that are using the K2s don't have the real K2. There is a fake K2 out there. And that's what most people have, is the fake K2. There's a real K2 out there. And on the back of that K2, it has a Chinese symbol indicating this is the real K2. So you got to be careful of that as well. But again, the beginning of that, I said, if I had a necrophonic or K2 all day long.
Yeah.
All day long before the necrophonic. I think the necrophonic is a nice, fun little tool, and you might get something that might be a coincidence or might be something. But really, at the end of the day, like there was even a comment right here that's saying that even though that they don't ask permissions to use your microphone, I don't know who was, it said, oh, here it is. I've read that the microphone is on. It's part of the coding.
Yep.
It throws the words back at you. So just because they didn't ask you for permissions doesn't mean they don't have the phone on. Now, I will say, if Google or anybody found out that was going on, the app would be taken down right away, because that's illegal. That's big time illegal. You need permissions. But at the end of the day, like I said, K2, necrophonic, K2 all day long. So
I like the K2. I mean, the necrophonic, we've had quite a lot of good luck there. And with the sentences as well. And I'm not 100%, but I don't think these apps are capable of putting out intelligent full sentences. I might be wrong.
Well, I know Lex has hooked up the phone to his laptop and looked in the back of the necrophonic, and they use sounds and letters, not sentences.
Because we've had full sentences. Quick example is Loudon Curtis farmhouse nearby. It's a quarter mile away. It's where the family used to live, And I've been up a couple of times. One night we were doing an investigation of the cut cab, and I says, I've been up at the house. And it came through in a clear female voice. He's been up at the house. Yeah. Now, they didn't repeat what I had said. I said, I've been up at it. I said, he's been up at the house.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, brother, like when I was in New Orleans with Howard, when we were doing the, Voodoo Authentica, he was using the necrophonics. And I was even joking with him prior to the live. And I was like, are you really using that right now? I was like, that's kind of sketchy. And we were joking about it. But we were getting some hits that even for me, I've got to back away from it and go, you know what? There might be something to this. I mean, I don't think I can't fully trust it. I'm with Bryan on this one. Between a necrophonic and a K2, give me a K2. But, I'm not saying it's not possible to get good evidence from it. But you need to validate it. You've got to be very careful. You have to be able to validate and debunk it.
Take everything with a grain of salt.
Yep.
To be
That's
honest.
it. I've got unfortunately, there's people in the paranormal that say everything is paranormal. They jump in the paranormal wagon, as I call it.
Yeah.
Every opportunity, that was a spirit. That was, that's a definite.
Well, I think we can all agree that the biggest problem with this industry as well is everybody thinks dust is orbs. And that they don't know the difference between a water particle or a dust particle. They automatically assume it's an orb, and that's a huge issue too. And if you say no, that's not an orb, that's dust or a water particle, they will fight you tooth and nail to try to prove you wrong. And it's like, or it's even a bug, like it's crazy. It's crazy. And for me, that comes with experience, and
I don't know about orbs. I'm kind of 50-50. I know I don't know, Sarah's going, I know we did have one photograph that we took at Dunure Castle, it was called, and this is in the middle of nowhere. It's right on the coast, this castle, and one of the photographs, it's a perfect bright circle, white circle. Now, we've been there there's nothing that could have gave off that light, and we would have seen it.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Scott. This is a good thing to think about, okay? This is a great thing to think about. And this is one of the things that Barry Fitzgerald told me. Do you know why you caught it on film, right?
We got one photograph, and there was a.
Do you know why? Do you know why it was circular?
No idea. We don't know. We couldn't explain it.
Your camera lens is circle.
Right, but there was nothing.
That's why they and Barry said that. Sorry, guys, I'm still feeling a little bit under the weather. But Barry said when people are seeing that round orb, that's because your camera lens is round. And and a lot of times where if it's night vision and stuff like that, it's the light reflecting off that makes it bright. So
if it was a thinking thing, it's something debunky for us to totally. It just seemed, when we looked at the photographs, it just seemed really, really weird. There was no torches on. There's nothing at the area around it's pitch black. So we can work out what caused it. And we didn't say this is an orb because we'll never say anything is paranormal. Yeah. We'll just say we can't explain it.
I think Matt's I know Matt is not big on orbs and stuff like that, but I think Matt would believe if it was an orb that it followed an EVP.
Yeah, for me, it's one of those, you have to have something else with it. There has to be some sort of evidence with an orb. I'm not saying they don't exist, because I've even seen actually Scott Morton, Mr. Fedora, he sent me a video of a place that we investigated. It was actually the first place, and there's something there. It's an orb, but there was no bugs in that building. There was very little dust because the building is being used all the time, and it's the only time you see something like this. And it had its own flight path. It was emitting its own light. You could see it was emitting its own light, but there has to be something else with it for me. There has to be an EVP, footsteps. Like if you see an orb coming at the camera, there better be footsteps with it, getting louder, or something else going on, knocking, something going along those lines.
Yeah, because we all know as an orb is just a ball of energy trying to manifest into an apparition.
Exactly.
And you need something to follow up with that to actually say it's an orb. I think I've seen many videos. I saw a video, what was it, 2 months ago on my timeline on Facebook, that this woman was sitting in a chair and there was these thousands of things flying all over the place, and she said they were orbs. I go, no, they're not orbs. First of all, you can tell the way your air circulates in your room because they're moving all in the same direction. Mm-hmm. And second of all, that that you can tell that they were water particles and they were dust particles. They weren't bugs. They were dust particles. And And Brian, I sent you a picture with me, two spirits. I never get that night when I got. Where did you send it, Nerdwitch? So I'll take a look at it. But this woman thought she had 3,000 spirits in her home because there were all these dust particles flying all over the place, and everybody was in the room or in her post saying, no, these are dust particles. You can, and I even said you can even see how your room circulates. The air circulates, and she was fighting everyone back and forth about no, you have no idea what you're talking about. I live here. It's like, oh my God. It's like, and I truly believe that comes with experience. I think over time she will agree that it's not orbs, it's dust particles and water particles. But this is just, experience and knowledge and understanding that what's going on in your room. I'm sorry, I don't think an orb would flow with the dust particles with the air circulation.
Well, I think you guys can all agree with me on this one. And there's either the true believers in these orbs and the ones who are skeptical but open. I think that we're going to figure out what actually happens after death way before we can get everybody to agree on orbs.
Yeah.
You're always going to get people that no matter what you tell them or what you show them, they're never going to believe you.
Yeah, I do remember that now. I do remember that.
You're never going to convince them that they're wrong, or they're mistaken, whatever way you want to put it. They'll always be, oh, no, that I know what I've seen. That's definitely what. And with these people, you just need to let them go and say, right, that's what you think. This is what I think. So we'll just, we'll leave
and that's fair. And that's fair. You're not gonna change someone's mind. But I truly believe in, from the experienced, real experienced paranormal investigators, they know how rare it is to catch an orb. It's like catching an orb is like catching a demon. It's very, 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 very rare, and I'm not a believer in demons. So, no, I wasn't going to say him. I'm not going to say his name. He's not an experienced paranormal investigator. I'm sorry. He's an entertainer, not a paranormal investigator.
Not too entertaining.
Because I guarantee if he ran into a demon, he would be sitting in a corner sucking his thumb.
Let's find out.
Yeah, but I know who we're not. Scott, I should say his name. Scott has no idea who we're talking about.
Hold on, I'll get my sleeves rolled up.
Plug your ears. Mr.
I'm ready.
Mr. Zach Baggins. He's not a paranormal investigator. He's an entertainer. And I wish people would, some people would realize that. But
he's not even entertaining. He's failing.
Yeah. So, but listen, a lot of people watch his stuff and I don't agree with it. But at the end of the day, he's got a lot of followers. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that.
I'm sure somebody.
I like his thumbnail. The little
his and Kate.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if I'm 100% positive if they put all of our shows, this one, Through the Lens and Paraverse, on the Discovery Channel or Sci-Fi, we'll get a lot of people watching too if somebody buys it for us.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Wow.
I've said many a time, these ghost shows. I watched some as well. Some are really good, but some are just crap, basically. I'm not going to name names, but I think there should be shows out there that show the other side of the paranormal. And I've said this a few times. It shows, teams, groups, whatever, getting into a graveyard, for instance, and sitting there for an hour, 2 hours without anything happening. People might say it's boring to watch, but it's the anticipation. If you're sitting watching something and you don't know what's going to happen within the next 5 minutes, are they going to see something? Are they going to hear something? Whatever. People should see that other side and realise that it's not all, you walk in to an old castle and immediately somebody throws a table at you.
Yeah, well, see, the problem with that, Scott, and I completely agree with you, and that's one of the reasons why we started the Global Ghost Hunt is because the fact that we wanted people to see real investigations, not these fake investigations that they see on YouTube. The problem is with YouTube and TV and stuff like that, it's all about money. It's all about ratings. And with TV, if the show's boring and nobody's watching, the TV stations have to worry about sponsors.
Exactly.
And, so, and that is the biggest thing with TV. So when you see all those commercials, those are people that are actually sponsoring that TV show or that station. So they have to keep up with ratings. They have to keep on top in the last show. And if they don't, people are going to tune out. People aren't going to watch. They're going to lose a great deal of money. So that's why it's so important for these TV shows to be doing this and not being real. But I wish the paranormal investigators that are in front of the camera would really stand up and say, listen, this isn't right. This isn't right what we're doing. And they need to take a stand, and like there were a couple of groups on YouTube that I enjoyed watching, but soon as they got popular and they went viral, they started faking stuff because then the money started coming in and they were making a lot of money. Like I know some people that are making like 75,000 a month and for their investigations. And the reason they're faking now is because they have to. And because if they don't, they're going to lose out on the money. There's a saying out there, and it's true. Money is the root of all evil, and it really is. Because once money starts coming in, and you start getting 4, 5, 6 million followers, you got to keep up with that pace. And if you don't, you're going to lose everyone, and you're going to stop making money. Now, those are the people who are in it for the wrong reasons. They were in it to build their channel to make money. Me, Matt, and yourself are in it because we're trying to find the answers.
Exactly. I've said many a time, if Sky knocked on my door tomorrow and said, we want you to do a 10-episode series on it, I would say no, because that turns it into a schedule and not a passion.
And that's it. You can tell the people that are really passionate about it, and you can tell the people that are just in it for the money. And and that's the unfortunate thing about this industry. And like I've always said in the past, that if we want people to take us seriously, the faking's got to stop. The faking has to stop.
I get it. I get it with these shows, and I've said this on my show and many others. I get it. People like ghost hunters and all these people making the money doing it, and this is their job. I get it. But if you're going to call yourself an investigator, have a little respect for the field and put something like for entertainment purposes only in your show, either before, after, during, whatever. If you catch something, if you're highlighting for entertainment only, just keep reminding people it's not real paranormal. Because in all honesty, these idiots who are out there, and they are idiots who are faking and calling it real, you're actually hurting the field more than you're helping than what you think. Because these people that are seeing you, that have no idea about the paranormal, are seeing this, and they think that's the normal for us. They think that's what actually happens in their field. So if they hear, a bang, it could just be at their house settling, they go absolutely nuts saying it's a demon. They're hurting this field doing that.
Yeah.
And then real investigators have to back up everything we're doing.
And there's really no way to regulate that on YouTube to differentiate the real ones to the fake ones, because I think YouTube really should be putting a rule out there that if this is fake, you need to be putting into your description, this is for entertainment purposes only. Honestly, but the problem is it's hard to regulate that because it's such a mixture of real and fakers that how would you be able to figure that out?
Well, honestly, in my opinion, it's not Facebook or YouTube or any of these places. That's not their thing to do. That's not their responsibility. No. These individuals who are calling themselves investigators have a little respect for this field. They should be doing it on their own. They should be going to their editors, their video creators, and saying, hey, we need to put a tag in here that says for entertainment purposes only. We have to do this. If you have any sort of respect for this field, you should be doing that. I know.
And that's the problem. They don't.
Exactly.
That's the problem. They don't.
And just like with Eric said, I've actually done it. And I think, Brian, I told you, Scott, I don't know if I told you before, but I was approached to do a show when I was in San Diego. And I told them flat out, no. They wanted me to fake shit. And I told them no. I was like, I don't care how much you're paying me. I was like, you came to me for a reason. You're getting what you get, and you either deal with it or you don't.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, there's plenty of people out there that will fake it, you know. So if they did say we want you to do this, we want you to fake, just say no, you know, go and say A, B, and C, because they'll fake it for you. But I'm not interested in that. And the thing is you could have spent 10 years in the paranormal field and everything you've done is genuine, and then you start doing TV for whatever reason, and you know, you start faking it. That puts into doubt everything you've done over the last 10 years if you get caught.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I completely agree with that.
You know what I mean? People say, well, if he's faked that, what else is it?
You've ruined everything you worked so hard to get. You've ruined it. And which tells me that you weren't really in it for the right reasons to begin with. If you're willing to settle your integrity for popularity and money, you're not in it for the right reasons. You're just not. Like for me being an actor here in Toronto, like I don't care if I'm ever famous in acting. Like I've done extremely well in Toronto for acting and people know who I am, but I don't care about that because I have a passion for acting. I love being in front of the camera and playing somebody different than me, you know, and I enjoy that. And, you know, I'm sure Matt can vouch because he's seen some of my audition tapes, and you know, like I love the acting, I love the art, I have a passion for it. It's like my second home when I'm on stage and I'm standing in front of the camera. I just love it. But I think if you're gonna question your integrity by accepting money and somewhat fame, then you're in it for the wrong reasons right from the beginning. If you're willing to change after 10 years of being so passionate about it and then falling into that trap, you were never in it for the right reasons. I'm sorry.
No, I 100% agree. Just
no, I know you don't. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm kind of on the fence about that one. I'm like 50-50. I do agree to an extent, but at the same time, I disagree because let's just say yourself, Brian. Let's say you've been doing this for 10 years or whatever, and you know, do what you've been doing with Honophobia and Global Ghost Hunt and everything like that, and then you get offered something and you come out and say, hey, just letting you, like, come on through the lens and say, hey guys, just letting you know I've been offered this is what I'm going to be doing, and you're transparent about it, and you say, just to let you know, we do have to focus on ratings and some of it will be fake, but I'm going to show that it is fake, that this was for entertainment, and you explain and you're transparent about it.
Yeah, a TV show would never let you do that.
Oh, I'm saying on Through the Lens. If you came on Through the Lens and you told us all about this, and then on the TV shows you start showing and you have that for entertainment purposes only on it, yeah, some people coming in may question what's going on with Honophobia, but they're still looking at your stuff. You can still back up and validate your evidence from prior. But as long as you're bettering your situation and you're bettering yourself and what you've got going on, I'll support it.
Oh yeah, and I agree.
You know what I mean?
That.
Like
I agree with that. Yeah.
I think as long as you are transparent about it and you explain to everybody what is really going on and you put those disclaimers, okay, I get it. I get some. I mean, let's be honest, guys. Who here wouldn't want to do this full time? And Brian knows damn well I would. If Brian said, "Hey, I'm going to hire you today," I will quit my job. I will call up and say, F y'all. Bye. You know, and that'll be a very dangerous decision on Brian's part. But
and I get that, Matt, but the difference between Global Ghost Hunt and Ghost Adventures is a huge difference, because I can guarantee when Zach Baggins first came out, and I know you don't like him, and I get it. When he first came out, his first year, I think he was pretty legitimate. I think he was. But then his ratings started going up and he started becoming really popular, and they had to top every show. That's when the demons really started coming in. But if you take a look at his first year, there was a lot more legitimacy then than there is now.
And I get that, and I'll even agree even with Ghost Hunters. Ghost Hunters was the same way.
Yeah.
But to kind of with all I gotta say is Bobby Mackey's. That's a prime example. That was season 1. He was saying that there was a gate to hell. There was demons down there too.
Yeah, but I'm talking about his first few episodes when he first came on.
And I agree.
And unfortunately, the TV shows, and I know you don't know much about the TV show aspect of things, but they put you in a position where they don't give you much choice, and if you say no, you're gone.
No, and I get that.
So
I 100% get that. Yeah. What I'm saying is, if you are transparent, like we do these shows, and if you're transparent about it and you explain to everybody, hey, this is what I will be doing, and you know as well as I do, you can negotiate contracts. I would, for me personally, they need to be putting, for entertainment purposes only, either before or after the show, at least once, for me to even follow through with any of it.
In a perfect world, that could happen, but unfortunately, it won't. Because unfortunately, and I agree with you. And I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I think they should, but at the end of the day, they have to worry about sponsors, advertisers, ratings, and all that stuff. So,
and I get that.
Boy, the money, didn't it?
Little disclaimer for everybody.
The root of all evil.
Little disclaimer for everybody. This is just a regular conversation. Bryan and I are not getting upset with each other.
No.
This is just
not at all.
This is called constructive.
He's my brother from another mother.
Oh, but no, this is the way all paranormal discussion should be, in open, honest, understanding, going back and forth, and it's just constructive criticism back and forth, and open to everybody's ideas.
Yeah,
exactly. It should be, because with all the different ideas, all the different views, opinions, whatever, everything, and it's good to get them out there, and it doesn't necessarily have to turn into an argument.
No, but I think that's another problem with our field as well. To be honest, if somebody has a different opinion and you don't agree with their opinion, it gets blown up into something that is absolutely outrageous. It turns a molehill into a mountain. And you disagree with somebody's opinion, and I think a lot of people in this field have a real problem with constructive criticism, and that's a big issue too, because there are a lot of sensitive people, and I don't mean spiritual wise either. They get butthurt very, very easily because they think they have the best evidence, and if you're questioning that, oh man, World War III starts.
Exactly, and it's these people who say, we're the best team. I was saying this to GSI the other night, and people say, well, we're the best team in the UK. I say, no, you're not, because there's no such thing. No, nobody's better than.
Did John actually say that?
I've heard a few people, we're the top. We're the UK's number one team.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to have a little talk with John and bring him down a couple of levels, because I love John to death. I love John to death. I do. I love everything about him. But
John didn't say they were the best team. What I'm talking about in general, there are teams in Britain that say, well, we're the UK's number one team, and that always gets me. He's on the. He's just the same as everybody else. And Spirit doesn't give a damn, how many followers or views you've got. Spirit doesn't care.
Yeah.
I call John the megastar and stuff like that. I wind him up.
Then I can say I'm the best investigator in Canada. Then
you can say you're the best cooking author in Canada.
You know what? I can say I'm the best investigator from my hometown, because I don't know anybody else besides my wife.
There you go.
I mean, just before we wind up, what makes the best investigator? Because this is my view on it. You can get somebody who's been doing it for 30 years, and then you've got a wee guy who's been doing it for 2 weeks, you know,
I
and
actually have an answer to
both of them
that.
go out and both of them go to the same location at different times. The 30-year guy gets nothing, you know, but the 2-week guy, he gets a lot of responses or, you know, whatever, for spirit. Now, is that just because the spirit prefers him to the other guy? To me, it doesn't make the 30-year guy any better, you know, because I'm better than you, I've been doing this 30 years. You get more experience, obviously, but to me, it doesn't make you better.
And that's where the problem lies. And that's where the problem lies, because if that 2-week guy went in there and got so much evidence and the 30-year guy got nothing, that's when the fighting starts. The fighting starts at that point, because the 2-week guy going, you got nothing, and I've only been in this industry for 2 weeks, and I got all this evidence. That's where the fighting begins. That's where the drama begins. You know, I personally think there's no expert in this field. There's not. I think we learn something every time we go out. And I think this is an industry where you'll continue learning, and there's no expert in this field. And I laugh when I say, or when I see, I'm the best in this field. I'm doing the best than anybody else. It's like, it kills me when I see that. And I just stroll right past it, because I'm not giving it the time of day.
I actually have an answer to that. What makes the best paranormal investigator? I got it right here. You ready? Somebody who is open, understanding, respectful, and wants to strive to make the paranormal field itself better. That's the best investigator. Someone who, and I know Bryan loves the para-unity, somebody who breathes it, uses it, utilizes the field, utilizes everybody else, is open and honest and understanding and respectful. That makes the best investigator right there. It has nothing to do with the evidence.
I would say that, and you know, folk will probably disagree with me. I would say the best investigator was just the guy that goes out and expects nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There's several ways you can look at it, but for somebody to come out and say I'm an expert in this field would be definitely the wrong thing to say. There's no experts in this field. I think everybody's learning every time they go out on an investigation, and I'm always learning when I go out. And because you can, if you go into an investigation one way, there might be another way you should have gone into that investigation to maybe get better responses. I don't think anybody's ever really going to be the expert in this field, in any field. I'm just not talking about the paranormal. I'm talking about any field.
Well, you might be the expert in the cooking field,
no, definitely not.
He's
definitely
the next
not.
Ramsey.
No, definitely not.
Keto Ramsey. I like that.
But I will say that I did enjoy doing it, and that's one thing I will say.
Well, that's all that matters.
Yep.
If you enjoy what you're doing, and keep doing it. Simple as that. But we'll wind it up there, please, because
that's why I'm coming out with the second one.
Well, I'm looking for volume 2. It'll be 72 pages.
Addition to.
And there'll be another
to in Canada.
Sorry, addition to, and there'll be a different on the back here.
God, you're learning from an expert.
Exactly, learning from the guest. How to volume
an author.
Thank you very much.
We could go on. Yeah, I'll be honest. We could go on for 2 or 3 hours about this, and we'll never ever have the correct answer on why people think they're the expert in something. And like I said, I just stroll past it when I see it. I don't even.
It's something you could hang on and debate for hours on end, but you'll never get an answer, because you can't get an answer when there's no such thing.
Well, it's funny. And I've talked about this with Matt and the Mint team for Global Ghost Hunt, and I've talked to other people about it. And, I've always been the type of person that's always tried to help other teams, other locations, anything I could do to try to help someone else. And since I started the Global Ghost Hunt, I've been given nothing but flack since day one on starting the Global Ghost Hunt to try to help people. And even if you're trying to help other people in this field, you still get shit on for it. You do. You still get shit on for it. And I think
It's
the
always
problem,
going to happen, but it's something never.
it's like I told these guys, like at the beginning, I was getting death threats.
Mhm.
And there's so many ridiculous people in this industry that shouldn't be in this industry. Really, in all honesty, shouldn't be in this industry. But it is what it is. I enjoy it. I have passion for it. I love it when I get to talk with you two about it and be on a wonderful show with beautiful stars in the background. And
Someone else is here.
There's nothing right.
Who the fuck's here?
Well, just before we wind up, what have you got in the background, Matt? You've got jackets and it looks like a curtain or a blind.
Blinds. Yeah.
Blind and a curtain. I've got a nice black.
You want to
Black.
see how? Hold on.
Take a
I'll
look
show
at
you.
Matt's background. His real background.
Yeah, you ready for this
Look
one?
at the background.
Ready?
Yeah. Look at his real background.
There it is.
There you go. At least mine stays the same.
No, I love your background now.
Hold on.
I think you should keep the
There.
stars. There you go. There's Matt's background.
That's what I got going on. Look how beautiful it is.
I've got a green one as well. You know what I mean? But
I have a blue one because I use it for my backdrop when I'm doing self tapes.
Well, try using it because it'll look a lot better than jackets and a blind.
Well, we found out Brian's in a closet.
I'm not in a closet.
It could be.
Look, take a look at this. There's a couch over here.
It's a big closet.
It's a big closet. It's a walk-in closet.
It's not a walk-in closet. It's actually an office.
Okay. We'll call it that.
Jackets in here.
I can't say anything. I'm in a basement.
He's an office, so he has to have an office now.
Yeah.
So I'll keep a hold of you guys just after we come off for a wee minute or two. So where can people find you?
Oh, gosh. Where I really want people to go is globalghosthunt.com, www.globalghosthunt.com. My brand name or my group name is called Huntophobia. You can find me on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Just look up Huntophobia, Hunta phobia, all one word. On Sundays, I have a show called Through the Lens, which is on Parapost Network Central. I have a new show starting tonight called Crime Documentaries that will be on Parapost Network Central on Facebook, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. And that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. I'm also on Paraflix if you're interested in signing up for Paraflix. And if you are, it's everything paranormal. And I'll give you this. If you want to sign up for Paraflix, everything paranormal, you can use the promo code Huntophobia10 and you'll get a discount. You'll get a discount and it will cost you $1.99 a month for the app. $1.99 if you use Huntophobia 10.
Right.
for
the promo code. I never say that. I should say that. I never ever say that.
I've heard you say it once in a while, but it's not very frequent.
But my videos are on Paraflix as well. So,
right, so where can we find you, Mr. Barron?
Well, if you want to, I'm first going to say I'm sorry. I am so sorry if you watch any of my shows. You can find me on Paranormal Consultant on Facebook, on YouTube, TikTok, pretty much any social media. But I also have a show pretty much whenever I want, typically Wednesdays and Saturdays, called the Paraverse Podcast. And that can be found on, of course, Parapost Network Central, Paralinks, and any of my social media, usually YouTube. You can find it. You can also find me on the Global Ghost Hunt as well. Like Brian said, globalghosthunt.com, or even on Facebook or YouTube, because Brian and I actually have a show called GGH Live he was talking about that we do at least once a month to catch everybody up. And then I actually will be starting my own new show. Well, not my own. My co-host, Raymond Newsom from Newsom Paranormal, and I will be starting a show this Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, called What the Paranormal. And I am so excited for this one because of two reasons. One, nobody's doing a show like this. And two, Brian's going to squirm.
Good. I have heard of him, actually. Not for a while, but I remember the name popping up in some posts and what have you.
Raymond's a beautiful man. He really is. I love Raymond.
Hey, listen, I'm not bad at improv.
I know, that's why I wanted you to be the first one. We said if it's an improv show, you're going to be on it. You have to.
So we shall wind it up there, ladies, if that's all right.
Call us ladies?
He did.
It's a Scottish thing. We always say that, ladies. All right, ladies, how you doing?
He's saying laddie, but there's an accent.
We'll wind it up there, gents. How's that better?
That's fantastic.
Some folk are just too fussy. So a big thanks to Bryan and Matt for coming in. You shall be seeing them again because, as Bryan says, we could go on and on, but we kind of ran out of time, and they both have to go to the hairdressers.
And you know the great thing about this whole show? I didn't need the translate app at all.
Really?
I understood everything you said.
An hour and 25 minutes, and you understood everything.
Everything.
Now, closed captioning, that may be a whole nother story, but
they didn't even work.
We understood.
You don't get them in Scottish. Don't mind to look up where you can find these two gents. You know where you can find us. We're always in the same place anyway. But that's it for today, tonight, whatever it is. It qualifies as evening now, doesn't it? It does qualify for this evening. And thanks to our guests, and thanks for joining in and all your comments, etc., etc. And we'll see you again very, very soon. All right. Take care. Bye.